Hey guys, tonight we're going to run through this Starship Traveller Steve Jackson Fighting Fantasy number 4. I got my hands on this not too long ago. Been wanting to run this. And I always show you the book because I want you to know that I'll buy the books. I'm never going to just use a PDF I find online if I don't actually buy the product. I know they're not still making books, but I just feel like that's the right thing to do. But before we get started, let me show you something. I just bought this bad boy yesterday, and it's been out since 2011. I'm behind on all these things by decades, but I'm just finding out about all this stuff. So, stupid green screen. Let's see if I can get my head to block it. The Advanced Fighting Fantasy Role-Playing Game. This is by Steve Jackson and Ian Limson. I don't think they actually wrote it. It was written by Graham Botley, I believe, from Arion Games, but it's sanctioned by Fighting Fantasy. You see, it's got the logo. And I started reading through this last night, and I've been looking for a really nice rules-light RPG or D&D type game that I can run my friends through. Because we're always experimenting with stuff, and I'll go over this in a future video, but I just want to show you I have it. It looks amazing. I went through the first 20 pages, and it looks super easy, super light, a lot of fun. So, yeah, look for this in a coming video. This looks like it can be the thing from my group. So without further ado, let's get right into it. This is the only, as far as my limited knowledge is concerned, this is the only sci-fi book I believe that was in the series. It definitely wasn't the norm, as most of them were medieval type books, but we're going to do this one. This is sci-fi. Looks cool. Alright, so this one's a little different. We're the captain of the Starship Traveller. It's a ship that's the pride of the Astro Navy. Its weapons and defense systems are the most technically advanced in the fleet, and its crew are first rate. So before we begin, we got to determine the strengths and weaknesses of us as a captain and our crew members. So it's quite a bit different than the other ones. Very cool. We got sucked through a black hole that we'll talk about in a second, and we may have done some damage to weapons and ships. We got to determine the strength, yada yada yada. I got a new adventure sheet, guys, for this one. Also, we're not there's no rules about fighting. I guess the rules will be handed out to us as we get to them, so we'll find out as we go. I had to make I couldn't find a form fillable sheet for the Starship Traveller show book. So what I did is I just took a picture of the actual sheet. I made a watermark in a Google Doc, and I'm just going to do this kind of stuff over the top of it with a Google Doc. I can make this available, and I'll share it. I'll make it free available for you guys if anyone wants it, just in case someone wants it. It's like the easiest way I can think of doing it. Okay, so roll 1 die, add 6 to the roll, enter this total in the weapon strength section of your adventure sheet. When shooting enemy ships, you'll need to roll lower than this score. I'm going to pull up my basic fantasy version. Roll. Ugh. Oh, wow. Roll 1 die, add 12 to this roll, enter this total in your shield section. When enemy ships hit you, lose points from the shield score. Your shields will weaken significantly after a few hits if your ship ever goes to 0. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, and for the crew, this is really cool. It has skill and stamina like other fighting fantasies, but they have professions, so it's not just you. It's your science officer, your medical officer, your security officers, and so their skill reflects their abilities at what they're good at. So it's 6. It's roll 1d plus 6 for all these skills. 2 dice plus 12 for stamina. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there's 1 luck box for you as the hero as well. Let's roll for that. Jeez Louise. So the final rules before we get started are that we beam down to surfaces. When we beam down, you'll often beam down by ourselves, or we'll be given a choice to beam down with crew members. We'll have to choose which members we want. A science officer, medical officer, engineering officer, security officers, anybody but the engineering officer, the medical officer, and the science officer do not get a penalty for fighting, but those 3 do because they're not proficient in combat. So we would land on the planet with those 3. We would need We'd have to have those three with us to use them while we're down on the planet. For stamina, it seems like the only way to get stamina back in this book is to find a planet that helps you restore some stamina, or when you leave a planet, you'll get 2 stamina back from your medical officer if he's still alive, he or she is still alive. If they die, they can be replaced by an assistant, but then it will go down to only 1 stamina. If any of your officers die, they can be replaced by assistants, but they are 2 points less on the skill level. You still roll over again for their stamina, but their skill is 2 minus whatever their officer is, because they're not that good, as good as the officer. So let's get started. The fate of the Starship Traveller and her crew lies in your hands. Sucked through the nightmare of the Celestian Void, the Starship Traveller emerges at the other side of the black hole into an unknown universe. You are the captain of the Traveller, and her fate depends on you. Will you be able to discover the way back to Earth from the alien peoples and planets you encounter, or will the starship be doomed to roam uncharted space forever? Panic. From your seat at the helm of the Starship Traveller, you study the VDU anxiously. Engineering section has reported an override malfunction, which has locked the warp engines at a 10% velocity gain. You are watching the velocity indicator advancing rapidly through the safe regions toward overload. You hit the communicator button and call engineering for further news. It is not good. The malfunction cannot be traced, and it will take another 13 minutes for a system check to provide a full analysis. You are heading toward Celestian Void, a known black hole. You may or may not avoid it, but your science officer has another plan. If you swing the ship through its immense gravitational pull, its gravity drag may help reduce your speed as you travel away from it. This is worth a try, but the navigational tuning will have to be precise. You swing the starship hard to starboard as you enter the Celestian's gravitational field and fasten your eyes on the velocity indicator. To your great relief, the plan seems to be working. The gain comes down 10% to 5% to 0 to negative 5%. Loud cheers come from the crew, but you're still watching the velocity indicator. It is now showing negative 15%, then negative 25%, and still falling. The ship is being sucked into the Celestian Void. You hit the red alert button and instruct all ship's personnel to strap themselves down. The ship begins to whine and shake as it rapidly accelerates towards the black hole. There's nothing you can do to avert the impending disaster. An almighty explosion rocks the ship and all the crew, including you, unconsciousness. You and the other members of the crew are regaining consciousness. Again, you hit the communicator and call for systems damage reports. All systems appear to be intact until engineering reports that the warp drive engines are dead. You are floating in space, but your drive reactors should be operational. After some delay, you regain warp drive. Long-range scan indicates 3 solar systems ahead, of which 2 may have intelligent life. Crew, we need to get our bearings. Let's go to this barren system and figure out what's what. You increase speed towards your destination. Suddenly, a red light appears on your control panel. You hit your communicator switch and contact the engineering section. "We'll have to cut speed, Captain," cries your engineering officer. "The reactor must have been damaged more than I thought. I can't hold her." You ask what exactly the problem is and learn that your supplies of Delibrium crystal are almost exhausted. Delibrium crystal is a naturally occurring mineral common throughout your own galaxy. The raw material can be mined, and the ship is equipped with a processing plant to convert it to nuclear fuel. You must begin searching for the minerals straight away, for without Delibrium, your ship will be unable to travel. Well, we know there's lots of minerals on asteroids. Let's head towards that small asteroid cluster. Sensors scan the asteroid cluster. In the center of the cluster is an asteroid containing some Delibrium. but it is impossible at this range to ascertain exactly which asteroid has the mineral. You may investigate by sending out one of your officers with a jetpack, but the going will be dangerous. The center of the cluster is a mass of whirling asteroids, each one big enough to kill a man. I need a volunteer. Frank, we need this Delibrium, and we need you alive. Be careful. Come back safe. Nearing the center of the cluster, Frank darts about, avoiding the asteroids, which constantly flash past. Occasionally, one will hit another, and they'll fly off in different directions, sometimes causing a sort of chain reaction. Using the portable scanner I gave him, Frank locates 4 asteroids, all bearing Delibrium ore.
There's 4 of these. I don't know which one to get.
Frank, take the 4th one.
Copy.
Landing on the asteroid, Frank draws his micro-excavator from his belt and sets to work, piling fragments of rock into his porta-sack. From the ship, you watch his progress on the viewer. Suddenly, a large asteroid comes into view, heading straight for Frank.
Frank, get out of there! Get out of there!
Frank swings around and yells loudly as he sees the approaching rock. He leaps to one side, but it is not quick enough. The asteroids collide, trapping him between them and ripping his suit open. Exposed to the vacuum of space, he vaporizes instantly, while you can only watch in horror. Frank was a good man, Captain, and I'm very sorry, but we must keep trying. No, I won't risk another one of your lives. Let's continue this voyage from hell. Well, crew, we're now faced with a problem. We can continue at warp speed and hope we don't run out of fuel. Or do we have an auxiliary power source that we can use for fuel? Let's do that. Engineering. You have words with your engineering and science officers. They agree it may be possible to divert power from either the phaser bank or the shields to fuel the warp engines. You may choose either of these sources and instruct the engineering crew to begin the work on the hookup. Crew, we have no other option. We have to drain our shields slightly to continue on with our journey. Just do it! You approach a small blue-green planet and take up an orbital position. You scan the planet for signs of life. It appears to be lifeless, but the scanners are giving some strange readings which you cannot understand. You try an all-frequency radio message but receive no answer. Suddenly, the scanners pick up a signal, probably a ship of some kind, traveling towards you extremely fast, in orbit from the other side of the planet. You switch to visual and you can see a missile-shaped object hurtling towards the ship. You hit the red alert button and activate shields, waiting to see what happens. From nowhere, a blast hits the ship. Well, that wasn't pleasant, but it wasn't too bad, I suppose. To your battle stations now! Let us attack first. Miss! They hit us!
Now it's our turn. Fire! Hit. Brace yourselves, they're firing back. Hit. Ah! Fire! Hit. Brace yourselves. Ready? Steady? Ah, it's a miss. Here they come again. Ha! Miss. Fire! Finally it's a hit!
Resuming orbital position, You scan the planet again. These readings are puzzling. I see no signs of life. But we're short on Delirium Crystal. We must beam down to the surface. Scanning the planet, you are relieved to find an area of Delirium ore deposits. Jack, you're the science officer. I'm gonna need you. Hey, and give me a security guard. You, number 1. Let's go. The planet is barren and rocky. A howling wind blasts across the planet's surface. Using my portable scanner, I locate the deposit of crystal ore. Jack, can you excavate that, please? Use your micro excavator. I want to check out this ravine. Let's check this out. As you descend into the ravine, you use your portable scanner to probe the land. Looking downwards, you can see what appears to be a stream running along the valley, and you climb down to investigate. The scanner indicates it's water, but it's got a strange reading. Hey, security guy, are you really taking a drink of that? Stay away, that's an It's too late. The security guy says the stream really is water. On the bank of the river is a natural-looking deposit of a yellow-colored powder, which your scanner cannot analyze. Alright, security guy, now that you've taken a nice little drink, why don't you go grab some of that yellow-colored powder for us? We're taking that back to the ship. I want to keep exploring. Let's go. Continuing along the ravine, you find only rocky ground. The portable scanner indicates nothing unusual beneath the surface. Climbing up the slopes, you're hit again by the rushing wind. Forget it. Let's go back to the ship. Back in the ship, you enter your report in the computer and use long-range scanners to probe for your next destination. Scanners indicate 2 likely stars ahead with planetary systems in orbit. One is a bright purple star and the other a double star. I've never seen a double star system before. Let's go there. So guys, that's it for episode 1. I hope you have enjoyed it. This is actually really cool. I'm loving the sci-fi vibe. Haven't had hand-to-hand combat. Lost a crew member. Won a ship-to-ship battle. I'm digging this vibe. I love Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone. What a great series of books. Guys, thanks for sticking with me. We'll add some more later. Appreciate it. Peace!